Elkin to Eden. WXII 12 News has you covered. Keep up with your local weather team across the Triad. Follow Michelle Kennedy on social media.
Welcome back, everyone. A woman shot at a Winston-Salem bar has died from her injuries.
Police believe 37-year-old Julia Shields was murdered. Officers found Shields shot early Sunday at CB's Tavern on Bethania Station Road. Police say she was taken to a hospital before officers arrived. The bar released a statement yesterday saying the shooting happened in the parking lot.
A substitute teacher is accused of assaulting a student in Wilkes County. 74-year-old Keen Kruckenberg was arrested on Monday. He's charged with 1 count of misdemeanor child abuse. Last week, the sheriff's office received a report from Wilkes County schools about the alleged assault. Deputies did not say where it happened.
We're also learning App State football player John Jack Murphy died on Friday, according to a university spokesperson. The university did not provide a cause of death or any details about the circumstances, but the university did not think his death was suspicious. Murphy was a third-team All-Sun Belt selection in 2023, starting 14 games at offensive tackle. He spent the 3 previous seasons at Marshall.
To breaking news, classes have been canceled for the remainder of the day at UNC Chapel Hill after demonstrations in support of Palestine got out of hand this morning.
30 people were taken into custody because they refused to leave a demonstration in support of Palestinians at UNC Chapel Hill. University police say protesters attempted to block campus police vehicles by standing in front of them.
Now, after the encampment was cleared out, police say protesters pushed officers while trying to enter a building. Police say some of those detained were neither students nor affiliated in any way with the university.
Demonstrators at pro-Palestinian protests stormed a building on Columbia University, escalating the tension overnight.
This after school leaders began suspending students for not dispersing. Officials telling students to stay away from the school. Alice Barr reports from George Washington University.
Shattered glass and boiling tensions as anti-war protesters at Columbia University in New York occupied a building on campus overnight. Waving the Palestinian flag and barring the doors in a major escalation after the university started suspending students who refused to abandon their encampments.
We will free Palestine! We will free Palestine!
It's part of a nationwide movement of college students demanding a ceasefire in Gaza and for their schools to cut financial ties with Israel.
We are staying here. We are not leaving until our demands for disclosure and divestment.
Roughly 1,200 demonstrators have been arrested across the country as universities step up efforts to clear encampments, in some cases spurring confrontations with police, with protesters removed by force, like here at the University of Texas at Austin. Some Jewish students say they don't feel safe amid incidents of anti-Semitism. House Speaker Mike Johnson calling on university leaders to do more.
We will not allow anti-Semitism to thrive on campus.
The White House saying President Biden condemns the term intifada seen on Columbia's campus as hate speech, and that while he respects the right to peaceful free expression, quote, forcibly taking over buildings is not peaceful, it is wrong. It all comes as Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel, pressing to close the deal on a ceasefire that would also free Hamas-held hostages and get more aid into Gaza, seeking to ease the suffering and calm the turmoil. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Turning to our weather now, it's been really nice out there. Last couple of days, it's starting to feel like summer's around the corner.
It sure does, but we are due for some wet weather, and we might be getting some of that tonight. Our Michelle Kennedy is tracking the forecast for us. Michelle?
That's right. We've got that ridge of high pressure in control still off the coast, but it is creating some issues when we talk about the surface features rolling through. We've also got a couple of showers lifting out over the mountains right now. You see one thunderstorm here just north of Sparta as we go up into Galax and Hillsville area along 77. So watching for that, and that might be a storm or two that impacts folks out through areas of Stewart. But Stewart has a shower trying to brew right overhead, and you might see that too up in the foothills as we watch that shower action approach from the south and west. That energy could help lift some of those showers right overhead, where you're not waiting for those storms to move in necessarily, just some developing right over you. With light rain showers expected, about a tenth to a quarter of an inch if you get a good thunderstorm coming through. And it does look like these are going to roll out to the north and east and be spotty, where severe risk is not an issue for us. We've got the general thunderstorms going for most of North Carolina, a possibility tonight, although a small rain chance compared to what we would typically expect to see along a front. This is a weaker system coming through. You see back to the west, they still have to deal with the enhanced risk all the way through Iowa, down through northern Missouri and into Kansas tonight. We've got temperatures at 77 degrees at Reedsville, 76 in Greensboro, 75 in Winston-Salem. And you know what? Not bad to have those clouds in place. As we end April, we're heading into May with some hotter temperatures again. We're looking forward to some 80s out there. Highs so far in the upper 70s, and typically we're in the mid 70s for this time of the year. So tomorrow about 8 to 6 degrees above normal. We'll take that. You can see the mid-level jet stream wind speed continues to be in the mix as we go into the northern plains tonight. That's what's going to help produce some of that severe weather that you see there tonight. For us, so we don't have that influence, and even the low-level jet stream, just a little bit of energy tonight to maybe cause a shower or an isolated storm. So this is a pretty uneventful system that's moving through, and really it's going to move to our north and just settle in with more heat for us tomorrow as the ridge continues to build in. 57 degrees with those clouds lingering through early morning, maybe a little patchy fog where you do see a shower. Otherwise, you're dry. You notice low humidity in the afternoon. 82 degrees with a northeasterly breeze at about 10 miles an hour. And we've got 54 degrees in the foothills, 81. So early morning for runs and walks and getting outside. Otherwise, you might be surprised at how warm it's going to feel tomorrow afternoon. Now, we don't have the humidity, so that's going to be a little bit better, more of a dry heat for us as we take a look at those temperatures on your Wednesday. Temperatures at 52 degrees in the mountains, near 74 degrees there, with winds also a little bit breezy at times, but comfortable with sunshine and dry conditions. We keep that in play through your Thursday, and we'll be watching for those showers to lift out as we head into the late evening hours tonight. And notice how spotty it is. Not everyone gets in on the rain, so I think you're still going to have to water your flowers if you've just done some planting. You want to do that. And you can see the isolated showers lingering, maybe a pop-up tomorrow. I think it's just going to be so slim that we've kept rain chances below 20% for you. We've got 82 degrees in the Greensboro area, 82 in Winston-Salem for tomorrow. And then watch what happens on Thursday as we see comfortable mornings turn into upper 80s by late day. It's going to be a steamy one, and we're not necessarily steamy. We're not talking about high humidity just yet. That comes into play for the weekend as we increase more humidity. Temperatures still staying in the upper 70s, and you can see that moisture eventually drying out for us later tonight. Here comes that dry air, so that's what will help bring in the sunshine. By Thursday, storm chances out of the picture for us. It's Friday that we'll watch for the next round of showers and thunderstorms. So watching for that, you can see our impact day is Saturday as well as Sunday now. Otherwise, we've got some sunshine mixed with clouds Friday and enjoying 70s into Monday before 85. More hot weather returns for Tuesday.
Michelle, thank you. Checking traffic. Here's a live look. This is Salem Parkway at Highway 66 in Kernersville. No issues to report. Roads are clear at 422. Coming up, King Charles back in public after being diagnosed with cancer. What his schedule looks like over the next few months.
And a recall that could impact your dinner plans. Why you should throw this meat out if you have it in your fridge.
The Carolina Hurricanes are hoping to close out the first round tonight in Raleigh.
The Canes are up 3-1 in the series against the Islanders. The Islanders lost the first 3 games of the series but denied the Hurricanes a sweep with a 3-2 double overtime win in a Game 4 Saturday. Puck drops at 7:30 inside PNC Arena. Sports Director John Johnson is headed to Raleigh for this one. Look for live coverage beginning at 5.
On to the Diamond. The High Point Rockers home opener is set for tonight. 2 Centurion World War II veterans will each throw out the first pitch for tonight's game against the Charleston Dirty Birds. The Rockers also have a special offer for fans. 4 tickets for just $29. The game is set for 6:30 at Truist Point. Coming up, North Carolina sheriffs forced to work with federal immigration agents. It is a controversial bill that is one step closer to becoming law. Local sheriffs weigh in on the measure.
From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
We continue to follow breaking news out of East Charlotte, where 4 law enforcement officers were killed, 4 others hurt in a shootout on Monday.
And today, investigators provided an update on the victims and the moments leading up to the shooting. Devontae McKennett joins us live in Charlotte this afternoon with the very latest. Devontae.
Christine, Lindsay, good afternoon to you both. CMPD Police Chief Johnny Jennings said today that there were more than 100 gunshots fired during that scene yesterday in East Charlotte, and that gunfire led to the deaths to, unfortunately, 4 of those law enforcement officers. Today they were identified. Here they are, North Carolina Department of Adult Corrections officers Samuel Paluche and William Elliott, CMPD officer Joshua Iyer, and Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Weeks also fell victim to that gunfire. Around 1:30 Monday afternoon, the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force went to Galway Drive in East Charlotte to serve a warrant, and there is indication that the suspect saw them before they even reached the front door. We know multiple officers were fired at immediately, more officers responded, and more officers were hit. Some of those officers were hit from bullets from above. Authorities recovered an AR-15 rifle, a .40 caliber handgun, and also ammo for both weapons inside that home. Today we asked the chief if the body armor that the officers wear can sustain the power from an AR-15 rifle. Long story short, he said no. Traditional body armor cannot withstand a round from a rifle. The suspect was eventually shot and killed, but police are still working to determine if there was a second shooter involved. 3 of the 4 injured officers have been released from the hospital. We know that a CMPD officer, an 18-year vet with that department, he remains in the hospital, but good news, he did have surgery last night, and that went okay. 2 women who were found inside that home after all that gunfire, they have been taken into questioning, but the chief said today they are not suspects and they have not been arrested, and he is not looking for anyone else involved in that deadly gunfire from Monday afternoon. Back to you guys.
Devontae, thank you. A loss for the entire country. That is how U.S. Marshal Service Director Ronald Davis is describing this terrible tragedy.
3 U.S. Marshals and 1 CMPD officer were killed in this horrific incident. Among those, Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Weeks, who was assigned to the Western District of North Carolina and was also part of Carolina's Regional Fugitive Task Force, which is responsible for responding to some of the most heinous crimes in society. Local, state, and federal law enforcement members come together to share resources when it comes to responding to some of the most violent offenders, and these are some of the bravest people out there.
Even right now as we speak, there are thousands of deputies and task force officers serving our communities, trying to bring to justice those that are responsible for some of the most heinous crimes in our society.
If you could speak to each one of those fallen officers today and ask them the question, why? They'd say, why what? They say, why did you take the oath? Why did you become law enforcement officers? Their response, why not? The second question, would you do this again, knowing your fate yesterday? Would you do it again? They would be a boisterous yes. They would not change a thing. The only thing they might change is saying, let me lead. Let me lead. They'd get a tussle over who was going in first. That's how brave they were yesterday, and that's how brave they were the day they took the oath of office.
There is a member of the Winston-Salem Police Department in Charlotte that serves alongside the U.S. Marshals Task Force as an officer.
We're told he is present for family and officer support during this difficult time. Now, a GoFundMe has been set up to help the families impacted by Monday's shooting in Charlotte. Back the Blue NC is behind this one. It is a nonprofit made up of people in our state who proudly support law enforcement and families of the fallen. Their goal is $250,000, and so far more than $60,000 have been raised. A link to that GoFundMe can be found on our website, WXII12.com. We will, of course, continue to follow any updates to this story on air and online, and you can find the latest information on our app.
Covering the Capitol, just hours ago, the State Senate Judiciary Committee honored the 4 officers killed in Charlotte and mentioned that members of law enforcement are bravely making sacrifices each and every day.
And new at 4, a bill forcing North Carolina sheriffs to work with federal immigration agents and detain undocumented immigrants is one step closer to becoming law. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee approved that bill that supporters have tried to pass for the last 6 years. WXI 12's Bill O'Neill reports.
Most sheriffs already cooperate with ICE, but a handful of Democratic sheriffs representing the state's largest counties say ICE detainers violate constitutional rights. Today, the bill sponsor tells senators House Bill 10 gives sheriffs cover from violating a suspect's rights.
We give them a court order, which is what I've heard from some of those sheriffs over and over again is, give us a court order, give us a warrant, give us a judicial process. Well, you have that in this bill.
But opponents disagree. The co-founder of a nonprofit that works with immigrants says that ICE warrants do not give sheriffs that authority.
Federal courts have uniformly held that ICE detainers are not mandatory. They are simply requests. And an ICE administrative warrant is not a criminal warrant. It's not signed by a judge.
Among those who question the legality of House Bill 10 is Forsyth County Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough. He recently told WXII 12 News that despite his concerns, he will follow the law.
I thought that people were innocent until proven guilty. But if you want me to lock them up and hold them till I figure out whether or not they are legal without the proper paperwork, if that's what the law says do, then that's what we'll do.
None of the sheriffs concerned about House Bill 10 spoke at today's hearing. But Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page spoke out in support of the bill.
And I tend to believe, as a sheriff in Rockingham County for 26 years, that when we remove criminal offenders from our community, we make our community safer.
And Theresia Ramirez tells lawmakers she was 10 years old when she first learned what it meant to be undocumented. She says that her mother created an emergency plan in the event they were ever stopped for driving without a license.
At the time, it was just my brother and I and her against the world, and it took many years until I was able to not fear the sight of a police officer.
Governor Cooper has vetoed this bill twice, but Republicans now have a veto-proof majority. In Greensboro, Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.